What's up, y'all? So I got a text message this morning from one of my Instagram followers about this case. This case was a civil suit filed by one of the girls that was on the Making the Band series that was on HBO back in the day, where Puffy was trying to put together a band. He asked them to walk over to Brooklyn to get him some cheesecake. They made a big deal out of that. Long story short, this girl, Sara Rivers or Sara Stokes, whatever her name is, here is the paperwork, okay? Mandate issued on November the 19th, 2025, which was 2 days ago. Sara Rivers, formerly known as Sara Stokes, United States Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit. At a stated term of the United States Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit, held at the Thurgood Marshall United States Courthouse, 40 Foley Square in the city of New York on the third day of October 2025. All right. Sara Rivers, formerly known as Sara Stokes, she sued Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Brother Love, Bad Boy Entertainment, Harvey Pierre, Tracy Waples, Allison Stanley, Chris Sainsbury. She sued everybody. Janice Combs. A notice of appeal was filed on September 15th, 2025. The appellant's Form C, which was Sara Rivers. Sara Rivers' Form C, due September 29th, 2025, has not been filed. The case is deemed in default of FRAP 12, Section B, and LR 12.3. It is hereby ordered that the appeal will be dismissed effective October 17th, 2025, if the Form C is not filed by that date. For the court, Catherine O'Hagan Wolf. This is page 2. So it looks like there were some things that she had to file. I think she's going pro se. This had to do with the MTV joint. Now, what does a mandate mean? I had to look that up. You see how this order has mandate on the top? See where it says mandate? A mandate is the official order issued by an appellate court that formally notifies the lower court of its decision, terminates the appellate court's jurisdiction, and instructs the lower court to take specific actions, such as executing the judgment or conducting further proceedings. It is a crucial document that transfers authority back to the trial court and requires it to follow the appellate court's instructions precisely. The mandate is the official document that formally communicates the appellate court's decision to the lower court. Issuing the mandate officially ends the appellate court's control over the case and transfers jurisdiction back to the lower court for implementation. The mandate contains the appellate court's specific instructions, such as reverse, affirm, or remand, which the lower court is required to follow. The lower court must execute the mandate's directions, and a failure to do so can be grounds for an appeal. The timing of the mandate's issuance varies, but there is a default period that allows time for parties to file for reconsideration before the mandate is issued. What happens when a mandate is issued? The appellate court's decision becomes final and effective. The trial court's original decision remains in effect until the mandate is issued. The appellate court loses jurisdiction over the case. The record is returned to the clerk of the lower court. The lower court can now take the necessary actions to implement the appellate court's decision. So, this girl from Making the Band, she received, the appellate court put a mandate on her case. I think her case, if I remember correctly, I covered this once before. Let me see if I can pull it up. That she was trying to sue Puff and her case got thrown out. I think that's what happened. Let me see. Hold on. All right, I wasn't able to pull it up. So anyway, this is just another win for Puff. The civil suits are getting knocked down one by one. The fact that Puffy won his criminal trial and he was acquitted of the racketeering conspiracy, he was acquitted of the SEX trafficking, all of these other civil suits that are coming into play that are alleging just that, what he was found acquitted of in the criminal case, they're all getting thrown out. The judges are not even taking these cases serious. Everybody knows these are money grabs. Now, what this girl should have did, and I've seen a lot of the other Making the Band people that was on that show, they're all coming out now doing interviews on different social media platforms. But, you know what I'm saying? You blew your shot. This is what you guys should have did. I think y'all was staying in Lower Manhattan. When the Making the Band came into being, y'all was staying in a hotel in Lower Manhattan. The Brooklyn Bridge is right there where you guys were staying, right? The Brooklyn Bridge is exactly 1 mile from Manhattan across the bridge into Brooklyn. Then to walk to Junior's Cheesecake, it's maybe another mile, right? So 2 miles there, 2 miles back, right? Is it unusual for somebody to ask you to do something like that? Was Puffy being, whatever word you want to call it, out of line, out of character, or asking, you know, trying to do something to hype up the show? Yes. But the thing is this, 2 miles there, 2 miles back is nothing when you are in the presence of somebody of influence that can help you push your career to another level, right? Going to walk to get some cheesecake is not in no way, form, or fashion compromising your integrity or anything along those lines, okay? What you should have did was looked at it like this, and y'all take this and write this down. When you meet somebody who, if you're trying to be a pilot, a commercial jet pilot for Delta, United, American, or whatever, and you're in the process of going to aviation school, and you meet somebody who is a flight attendant for an airline, or a aircraft mechanic for an airline, and they befriend you, right? What you do is you look at that as, this flight attendant, this aircraft mechanic can help me become a pilot because that's what I want to do. Let me befriend this person, right? Let me stay in good graces with this person, like I say, without compromising your integrity, without compromising your principles, without compromising your morals. But let me stay in good company with this person because they can introduce me to people within the airline industry that can help me become a pilot, right? That's the way these people from making the band should have looked at it, but they were young, right? They should have looked at it and said, yo, this is Puff. Let me write my own pilot for a TV show. Let me write my own album for a record. Let me write my own movie, right? Let me write a Broadway play, right? I want to be a behind the scenes cameraman. Let me tell Puff I'm in film school. By doing those things and looking at it that way, walking to get some cheesecake is small potatoes because once I'm through completing this show of making the band, I'm gonna step to Puff and tell him, yo, I just finished camera school, film school, right? I wrote a script. I have 3 songs. Can you help me? You have direct access to a man who's in the position to pick up the telephone and call anybody in the entertainment industry, and they're gonna pick up the phone. He can make things happen for you, right? That should have been the move, but I get it. You were young, you can't really see that far, but like even now for me in the YouTube space, when I have met people, influencers that have larger platforms than me, platforms the same size as mine, or platforms smaller than mine, that we come together, we do a collab, I make sure I maintain good relations with who I do business with, especially if it's somebody big. I keep their number in my phone, right? Because you never know where somebody is gonna be tomorrow. Just because they are where they are today doesn't mean they're gonna remain there forever. Just because you see a dude sweeping the sidewalk in your city today doesn't mean 4 years from now he won't be a city councilman in the same city where he started sweeping the streets. Doesn't mean 7 years from now he may not be mayor of the same town that you saw him sweeping the streets. So when you come in contact with people that can push your envelope forward, you got to do your best to maintain good relations with these people, right? So now here, this girl, she's suing Puff. Her case gets dismissed. It's thrown out. And now what do you got? What you thought you had, your integrity is out the window because your story is most likely not believable, right? And you had an opportunity to do work with the man, and yet you squandered that opportunity, and now you want to come back and sue because he's taking a fall, and that shit didn't work. So now, what do you do now? So that's it. This is another win for Puff. I pulled this down on Pacer. You could go pull it down yourself. You know, hasn't been much news on Puffy lately in social media or in the media, which is good. That means my man is settling down and he's doing his bid. He's got his head down. He's doing his time. You understand? And preparing for his release in the next 18 months or shorter. You know, this is all good stuff for Puff. You got the other one, some kid, Little Rod. None of these civil suits are gonna work. None of these civil suits are gonna work. They all are going to get thrown out. Right now, Puffy is appealing his sentence and he's appealing his conviction. So next month, the defense, Puffy is required to submit his appeal, his brief, by December the 23rd, 2025. The Southern District of New York has to reply to that brief by February the 20th, 2026. And the defense, Puffy, has to reply to that brief by March 13th, 2026. And then the case will be opened up for opening arguments April of 2026. It's on the expedited fast track. Puffy's got Alexander Shapiro and Jason Driscoll on the case. The same two assistant U.S. attorneys who lost at trial in the criminal case, who went to Ivy League schools, who got beat, they are going to handle the appeal for the Southern District of New York. They are going to lose again. As we all know, if you really look at this case, the criminal case, Puffy was innocent before the case started. A jury rejected the argument from the Southern District of New York, and they acquitted him of the 3 most serious charges, and they found him guilty on 2 of the less serious charges, which is going to probably get overturned at the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. So we on top of that. Sean G, podcast was sold. It don't never stop. Peace.